Video, we're going to talk about quitting your corporate 9 to 5 job. So 10 years ago, I did quit my corporate job in finance. I was working in Century City in Los Angeles, making over 6 figures income, and I felt like I was dying. I felt like my soul was suffocating. But you see, we're gonna go back into how I grew up because I feel like there's always a backstory to the story, right? So now I'm an immigrant. I grew up in Eastern Europe. As a kid, I had a lot of spiritual gifts and abilities. I always was interested in the metaphysical, the spiritual, but I couldn't develop my spiritual gifts because it was communist Bulgaria. So there was no one to talk to, there was no really resources. So I just went and I did what everybody around me did, which was get a business degree. And then I moved to the United States and I got a master's degree and I got a career in corporate finance, which was the American dream, which was what I was supposed to do. But why was I miserable? Why was I feeling like my soul was just dying every time I would clock into my corporate job? So this is what we're going to talk about. I think a lot of light workers, a lot of people right now, we are part of this massive awakening shift that's happening on Earth. But we still live in 3D, which means we need money to survive. So of course we're scared to live something that's stable. And especially our belief system, in my case, my belief system stemming from my parents was you have to have a safe job, you make sure they don't fire you, you have to make sure that you work something that's acceptable by society, which is finance in this case, and you just work really hard and you're very grateful and you make sure you do a good job. And because it's scarcity mentality, life is hard out there, and if you don't do a good job and if you don't work in this corporate job, you're gonna starve to death and be homeless. That was in the back of my mind because I saw so many homeless people, especially in Los Angeles. So how do you overcome that? First is just feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And that's what I did. It came to a point, I was going through spiritual awakening. I had just done all my Reiki certifications, including Reiki Master, the 3rd level Reiki. I did holotropic breath work, and I just had so many synchronicities. I would hear my guides at night. I would have dreams. Like, I just knew that this job was not good for me, but the fear was holding me. And it just came to a point where I had to do it. And I was scared and I didn't know what was going to happen, but I did it, and I don't regret, because 10 years later I'm still here. I'm not homeless and I am pursuing my path, and I feel a lot more at peace than when I was doing the corporate grind. So first step, I would say, is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Second step is, okay, now what? You've quit your corporate job, what are you going to do next? For me, what ended up happening, and I feel a lot of healers end up in I call it the wounded healer trap, where you try to pursue your passion, your spiritual gifts, but there is three major difficulties that all light workers come across. One is fear of being seen, fear of being visible, and that's what happened to me. I was terrified of being visible because we all have past lives being prosecuted for being a light worker, burned on the stake, or killed for prophesizing, whatever it is. And so now your purpose is to be a light worker, but at the same time you are terrified of speaking out, of people judging you, and you just can't get out there. So how are you supposed to help people and pursue your purpose if you are scared of getting out there? Number two, what happens usually is, for us, it's hard to put boundaries. So we overgive, we're afraid to charge for our services, we don't know how to do marketing, we're shy, we're introverted, telepathic, extremely sensitive, always thinking about others' needs before ours. So these are all challenges that it's hard to exist in 3D, very material, very dense reality on Earth, and combine those aspects of yourself as a light worker. So that's something that I had to deal with. And Since I left my corporate job, I did a startup, a wellness startup for yoga on demand. I coached, I did a lot of Reiki healing sessions. And I found my way through. I saw what's working for me, what's not working. I most importantly developed my confidence and self-love, inner strength. And then through synchronicities, through following the path step by step, I was able to get a beautiful house in Hawaii, an Airbnb, where I currently run retreats, and really merging one with nature, continuing on my path of finding myself, of finding true peace, and being able to balance the pursuit of my soul with the ego, with the personal desires, because I feel like that's a lot of times is the challenge, right? You have some higher mission, your soul needs you to do something, but also at the same time you have the personal needs, because you do have a body, you do have ego, you do live here on earth. So how do you combine those two things and balance? That for me has been the most challenging, is being able to balance. So in my channel right now, I am doing a 3-month challenge to get monetized, to get to 1,000 subscribers. This is my first video of the series. And in every video, I will tell you what I'm learning about YouTube, how is this progressing, and how can I help others that are on the path, emerging entrepreneurs. So far what I've learned is you have to be consistent. So my promise is to do 2 videos every week. This is the first video. The second thing that I've learned is editing is very important. So I'm using CapCut and the script, and I'm gonna put links of both below. Third thing, which was really interesting, was don't do long videos and short videos in the same channel, because pretty much the people that are going to be watching short videos are not the people that are going to consume your long form content. And also thumbnails are supposed to be very clean, and they have to show your face, and they have to have a title. The other thing I've learned was the title of your videos, before you load them, you have to save your video, because YouTube is actually like a search engine. So you have to save your video with the name of the title. So for example, I quit my corporate job. I need to save this video with that title and then upload it, because then it would be easier for YouTube to find that video. And I think, well, one thing for me specifically is, if you're a procrastinator, if you're scared of how people are going to judge you, just imagine you're talking to your best friend and send out the energy through a video of how can I help others versus are people going to judge me, and what are people going to think about me? Because whatever energy you're putting out when you're talking, that's what's going to come out through the video. So I hope this helped you. If you're an emerging entrepreneur, a light worker that is moving towards remote work, following your passion and your purpose, then please subscribe. And let's help each other and connect and rise, and let me know what else would you like to see in terms of content on this channel. Aloha!